Hello there, my fellow map enjoyers. I am Akak and welcome to Riding Clock EU4 Guide. Today, my place Burgundy, the true home of LOTHAIR. And I'll show you how to effortless old the entire of France and restore the true glory of LOTHAIR. So without further ado, let's start by messing up with our states. The clergy will be given the +1 mana privilege, the religious diplomat, as well as the church sanctuaries. As for the nobility, mana privileges as well, supremacy over the crown, and in just a moment we will be given the increased levies. For the bourgeoisie, the mana privilege, free enterprise, and in that to the bourgeoisie, basically the cheaper law. And if you know me already, you probably see what's going to happen. Recruit troops into the plate of manpower, and then summon the diet. That will be giving us a cheaper advisor that we can move, cancel the recruitment of troops, and seize land. The Burgundy style is quite harsh in the economic side, so in order to alleviate our expense a little bit, we'll be deleting our cavalry. And that's already enough to make our balance go green. And for the advisor, we'll be choosing one of the cheaper ones. But I strongly recommend that you pick Johannes since they are younger than the others. For a diplo advisor, what I'll be aiming here is for improved relations one. For the meal one, you'll be picking the cheaper. And if you don't manage to get the status channel for a military advisor, a moral guide or disciplined one should be just fine as well. Now in order to complete our first mission, we'll be messing a bit with our subjects. We'll be making a simple trick that already sees someone not realize that you can do. Payroll subjects have a unique interact that is called Enable Support Loyalists. When you enable their option, you'll be paying 10% of their country income in exchange for 20% liberty design. Enable with all your subjects, and then that's already enough to complete our mission, giving us some clans in the Lorraine area. So now we can stop paying them rent. And for vassal never will be seizing on land. Take that a lot for you, and for that purpose you'll be releasing a vassal. Name it Champagne. Champagne do have some cars in France that we'll be using in order to not get that much of as expensive with the HRE. And now we can already get to the nobility strong duchies. For your rivals, pick France, England, and some other nation that has rival you, or Provence. That one is for you to choose. I'll pick in Provence in order to try humiliating them in your first war. And for your alliance network, you'll be aiming for 3 nations, one of them being Bohemia, the second being Austria, and the third one being Aragon. The most important one to grab here is Aragon in order to help us against the French, but it's extremely important to grab Austria as an ally in the early days of the game, not to scare anyone that is willing to attack us, and to dismantle the possible coalition that will probably happen after a certain time. So I'll start by sending an alliance to Austria and a royal marriage to Aragon. And now that both of my diplomats back, I will send a suit to both, and that's enough to complete another of my missions that will give us for 20 years some improved relations. And in order to complete the League of Public Will, that will give 50% liberty design to all these French subjects, and thus leading me to the Kingdom of the Franks, that will make every single one of the loyal subjects of France my direct vassal after I conquer a bit of province way easier. Now that I already have my cheaper guy, I will give the ability to increase levies. We will be also already boost your stability to 1 and give the cheaper advisor privilege. And now we can already stop paying for our troops and multiple frauds because we will only go after France after the 100 years are stuffed. And that's pretty much our first target. And of course, don't forget to send alliance offers to Aragon. Something that is extremely likely to happen is the Pope to rival Provence. If they do that, they will be way more willing to excommunicate them. And in the later patch, Provence and France did indeed start as allies, but that's something that quickly start to fall off true. So if they do excommunicate Provence, we'll be immediately declaring them. But in either way, I'll start paying for my troops in order to try to grab that province from me. I know I say that our first target will be France, but that's only because I was not sure yet if Provence and France will continue to be friends. Which, as I said, normally don't happen, but you can never be sure with the RNGs of that game. Yeah, and in order to not waste any more time without being a war, that means that we'll be wasting that aggressive expense will be decaying with our neighbors. I'll be declaring in Provence for the Conquest Barro. Always Barrois. The online is the OPM Saluso, so it's a brand that war. And because our ruler is pretty good, I'm not using them as our leader, and instead of that, I'll be good in general. It's pretty good to be honest. He even has a siege pip, nice. And rep. Why he's trying to siege my fort here? that in the moment that I start saying that I decide to not do that anymore, I will get some military access to Savoy in order to siege their province here and piece Saluzzo out of the war. And I love when I rather have a cheaper guy and get another one that is exactly the same dude. And that was a decent wipe. And followed by another one. Yeah, it's probably Eric, of course. And when you ask about what being proud of someone means, show you that image. Champagne did in fact recruit a free company. Shout out to you to that. You're a true MVP. Now that the Provence army is wiped, I'll be sending off my stacks to stand their capital and prevent them from recruiting any more troops. And now the war is basically over, all that remains to be done is to siege the province. Now, the most exciting part of the game, yet again. Oh, that is nice. Indeed, quite nice. I do think that Provence will be no more after that. But on the other hand, the English-France war just stopped. So right now what we're going to do is to wait them to fight each other a little bit in order to weaken France the more that they can. France do start with a massive force limit and with a well-built reserve. So it is in your best interest not fight them at full strength. But I will be already start build a spy network in order to help us with the following war. And if we get lucky, maybe England will be finally landing some troops. And for Provence, because I don't want to die of a coalition, I'll not be picking the all province that I can. Because, my dad here will probably not be enough to keep me safe, but I also don't want to fight the Emperor itself in order to conquer the province that Lorraine have. So I'll be picking the annoying Ferdinand IV, melts Lorraine, but keeping Bahor for a next opportunity. On top of that, I'll be humiliating them and take money. And yoink. And because I did that in 29th of December, after just a few days the gas expense will be already started cooling down. And because we have indeed a lot of forts, I'll be deleting the one in Luxembourg and keeping the one in Verdun. It's a better defensive province after all because of the river crossing. And you're seeing that they see that their image is providing at least 20 countries. And if your die for some reason, just restart. And for my third rival, since I kinda collapsed Provence, I'm thinking someone between Castile, Savoy or Denmark. Denmark will probably be attacked by Sweden because they're just that kind of OP. And for Castile and Savoy, both of them are allied with someone that I need to fight. So we are kind of a natural enemy to each other right now. At least for something useful, Charles. And now that I want to finally declare in France, I will start by making some preparations. The first one is to get rid of my armed professionalism. After all, we'll be strong relying on musters for the first war, so I'll be slacking price. And with that, I will be recruiting the Grand Company and building 2 more infantry. For your new acquired province, you'll be making them state, but not complete state, just half state for now. After all, we do really want to core some provinces in France and not fall that behind yet in tech. And because Savoy for some reason love me, I'll be allying them in order to try to get them out of the French war. And that's almost enough. And after Sicily a second time, I will finally declare in France. The thing with the Savoy alliance was a good try, but not a one that it was really useful. So I'll be calling Aragon with the promise of land, and even if the numbers don't say the same thing, that should be a quite close war. And before doing that, I'll be rivaling Savoy. Just a second. And now I will be declaring for the reconquest of my vassal core, Reims. We are ahead in the quality because of the tech advantage, but remember the French initial rule is quite capable, so they are probably really close to reach the 4 tech. That being said, you'll be using that initial advantage in order to try to blitz them out. And because the AI love to overstack, I'll be setting my state addicts to defensive, in order to try to lure more of them here and kill them by attrition. And that's probably should be a good fight with your heroes as a general. That's what I call a decimation. And now that our initial rule died and Charles got to the throne, we get a hiding effect that is called the Burgundy Saxon Christ. If your ruler died without her, or with a weak her, or with Mary of Burgundy being your heiress, there will be fired the so-called Burgundy succession, which is in fact good for us. So right now, let's just try to get the war ended before they reach high techs. In order to siege the Vassal capital and some other provinces, and staying in the capital, I'm able to separate piece Savoy out of the war. And with that, the French really don't stand a chance anymore. And because I'm in relations with some nations, the coalition that can be Cornhill will cease to exist in the elite. For the bronze that will be taken of Vassal course, Paris for herself, and Bordeaux for herself as well. On top of that, I'll be taking war operations instead of money because I don't want to give anything to Aragon. And in terms of coalition, in January basically won't be any coalition. So I'll just wait for a few days. And with that, basically no coalition. And that is a big yoink. It is looking beautiful already, isn't? We'll be calling Paris and release a vassal in Bordeaux, someone that you might guess already, Gascony. That will give us another reconquest against France for the bottom parts. So now what I do need to do is to improve relation with the subjects of France. And now that the war is already over, I will do with the rebels and after that stop paying for my troops. And before that, I will be lowering the autonomy because if do need to fight rebels anyway, might as well lower the autonomy first. And that is not exactly what we want, but I don't think that it will affect us anyway. And for my first government reform, I'll be picking the compromise with the nobility, because I do want to stack a bunch of stability cost modifier and the increased levies privilege is kinda busted right now, so that is my choice. But you can either go with noble officer corps if you don't plan on relying on mercenaries, and I do plan to rely on mercenaries, or even the strand noble privilege. But I think that the nobles are already powerful enough, and I don't want to mess that up. And because right now I literally can fight anyone other than England and I don't wanna fight the Iberians, I will be deleting my mercenary stack because it's just a waste of money. And speaking of money, and instead of mercenaries, I will start by recruiting some regular units. That was a good timing, because now that we completed the League of the Public Will, we can set almost every single one of the French subjects to disloyal, and because we already have Paris and more than 80 provinces in the French region, we can take the French subjects directly to us. And now every single one of the French subjects is now our subjects, and for the cherry in the top of the cake, we can fall into a personal union with France, which may not seem the right move, but if we do that, we will be inheriting our first subjects. And later on, I really want to have the Austrians as a possible ally, and either way we can fight anyone without triggering a massive coalition or the entire of the empire toward us. So, let us integrate with the French, but I shall say that for now. And with that, and that is a massive Burgundy. And that even completes some of our missions like Integrate Never, that will give us some clans that we don't really need, but okay. And Unite the Realm, which will give me some deep power and some temporary modifiers in the Low Countries. And because I'm not made of gold, unfortunately, I will need to delete some troops. And that should be just enough. And because I am a personal union and have 48 of prestige, I'll be giving to the Burgundy the patronage of the art, and right away upgrade my government rank to kingdom, which will get rid of the problem with government capacity that I should have. And with that extra government capacity, I'll be making some full states, mainly in the English node. And that's all that I can do right now. And just look at that, we are rocking with 27 income, 43 force limit, a massive amount of 35k manpower, and in about 12 years we'll be able to set ourselves free. Yeah, be a good boy and deal with my rebels. And maybe I can keep you as a OPM later. That might do as well. And they're even willing to give me ducats for that. Don't mind if I do. And when a Burgundy inheriting Imperial incident just happened, the Emperor will probably like to demand the lowlands for France. What I do recommend you to do is to quickly drop a save, and for some reason they do decide to release the Low Countries, you can just save scum. But in the worst case scenario, the countries will be indeed independent, they will get part in all of them, so even losing them is not that bad because of how big we can get? No, because French do really hate my guts and don't really care about my lands. I'll be making an unorthodox move. See that we already have -1 stability and some enemy to spare. Not that much of a hit that we can gather, but that is something that we'll need to think later on. Because right now, I'll be breaking the truce by declaring a conquest war against France in order to not lose my, because they're too coward to fight the Emperor and all the allies. Is kind of a oopsie moment. I might have been probably choose Austria, but I was kind of greedy, so I basically just pay for my poor choice. And in order to help us with that, I will be unlocking our first idea group. That will be a diplomatic one, and here we have two choices. First one being diplomatic itself, and the second one being espionage for the aggressive expansion impact and for the vassalization acceptance, because later when getting the empire, we probably don't want to directly conquer all that province here, because, well, the aggressive expansion is already massive. I will decide to choose first diplomat because of the diplomats, the diplomatic reputation, and the province war score. The diplomatic cost is good, and the lower impact and stability for diplomatic actions is great, so the fair least in the option after all. Declare for the conquest of a province that I don't really care that much, like not sure, because we don't really want to take any more province after that truce break, and we do in fact only need to be set free in order to get to choose what will be the outcome here. So I already start to move some troops, and I will set Chaos as more target. That will indeed hurt, but we can pass -3 stability anyway, so let's pray for the best. And that is the pretty decent hurt, and that is a pretty decent sized coalition. So right now, our only objective is try to get out of the situation alive, and if we manage to do that, you'll see how powerful we become. And let me say that again, that was a misplay of me. Instead of France, we should pick anyone else to be fair, but I was kinda greedy and don't want to lose never, so I kinda decided to trade for a third development province, roundly 7 in aggressive expansion. I don't think that was a strong movement, even I can get some oopsie moments sometimes. So in order to try to get that fixed, I will be right away send all of my diplomats to improve relations with some countries that are almost not possible to join my coalition anymore. Because if you might have forgotten, if a nation has positive opinion of you, they can't join your coalition at all. I'll start with Lancelot and some other dudes. Then of course, I'll be sending a royal marriage to Austria in order to try to grab one of our diplomatic slots. And when my diplomat got back, I'll send a royal marriage to Aragon as well. And for the war against France itself, I will probably just carpet siege them and wipe their army in order to get rid of the war as soon as I can. Because, as you might guess, the things are a bit right these days. Now they need to be wiped, right? Nice. And because I'm not feeling like losing my troops for free, I will be seeing funds out of the war for the massive amount of 120 ducats. That should be enough to keep us free and let us build up a bit in order to face the coalition. And with that, we are indeed independent and can start to get some allies again. I will be doing, of course, with Austria, Aragon again, and try to get another big ally in the east. We do have indeed the diplo slots for that. I will be going probably for Bohemia and Hungary if I can, but if it's not possible, Bohemia will be my choice. Hungary, and because I can and don't plan to towards him for now, I'll be allying both the Papal State and Naples. And for my last diplo slot, I think that I'll be choosing, I don't know, probably Milan. Seems good to me. And for my new set of rivals, I'll be picking England, France, and for the third one, I'll be picking Savoy again. And now it's about time that I start to improve relations with the outrageous country once more. And in order to make that faster, I'll be sending one of my merchants to the Rhinelands in order to transfer and set them to establish communities in order to give us some more improved relations. Now I'll be setting one of my diplomats for the improved relation action and set them to improve relation with outrageous countries. And with that, they will automatically choose one country that hate my guts and start to improve with them. And I will spend my spare meal points in order to improve my legitimacy. And I will finally slowly start to improve my stability. And for my Holy See team, of course I will pick and improve relations. And at any moment, some nations should start leaving the coalition, like Liège, having friendly attitude towards me, but still in the coalition. That is not so much friendly as you might think. And for your first wage ability, go for the Justified Wars. And with the new bit of Caroline that I'm about to get, I'll be giving for the clergy the religious culture. It is indeed a strong privilege to have. And we are finally at the positive stability again. And we did not even fall behind in tech. Finally! We are out of the coalition. Now that means that the next countries are just about to leave as well. Oh yeah, the classic 3 burgs. And after completing another state agenda, I get another chief advisor, that time for admin one, and just about in time, my advisors are getting old, and I would like to replace them with an inflation dude anyway. And don't look at that much, it's just the clergy being a dick. And what I'm just about to do here is take another set of burger loans and use that money in order to invest in some churches around our country. We did have indeed extremely good province to be developed with tax, and after all, we also need to embrace the institution. And some province here. That should be enough to improve your income by a lot. And if I'm not wrong, the face thing don't even happen yet. Yeah, so we'll probably be the one to fake face thing, because we do have indeed more than 50 prestige and just embrace the institution. So after the month tick, no longer in coalition against you, it is great. Yes. And for my next ally, since Bohemia just broke up with me, I'll be choosing Poland. Now that is indeed a powerful diplomatic network. And that is the face thing that I was talking about. Now Anvers will be a really great province, and will get us a lot of money. 2 whole ducats for literally 1 province in only 46 and that by not even make any effort at all. And now that we no longer have a truce with France and the coalition is somewhat solved, I'll be declaring France for the conquest house once more, but that time I'll be calling both Austria and Milan to help me. Once again, it's not a war that we do exactly plan to conquer anything, but if we let the France be, they will join the coalition and we'll be in a quite bad situation, so it's better to hit the coalition right in the room. And of course, I'll be taking the 6 mil tech before they can. With that, our armies are pretty much invincible, so we can march straight to them. And I will be kept at siege then in order to make the war easier and try to get them out faster. I'm not exactly afraid of the Savoyards because of my Austria, but they do indeed have a lot of troops. And for the allies of France, I'll be only take prestige and some ducats for them if I can. That should be enough. And after I take the idea right here, our AE are decaying right now by 4.4 easily. And as you might get already, it's just a matter of time before the situation is done by itself. And after taking out Chambéry, we're finally able to piece Savoy out of the war. For then, I'll be only taking money, war reparations, and if I can, I'll do treaty with France. I'm even willing to take less money to make that. Is really annoying for to siege. And after all, later I need to conquer them as well. We gotta complete another one of our missions. And because I wiped the army, I already start by working on my peace deal. I will be taking Bahor and the Normandy province because I'm greedy, and the coalition will be dissolved soon, at least before 1500. And before 1500, we cannot even join the Emperor, so it's just a matter of waiting right now. Maybe even started in order to complete my state, humiliate, and war reparation and money. I'll be working in war score for summertime and I'll be right back. And in the meantime, I will be building some marketplace around the English Channel. And that is indeed a long siege, longer than I ever expected. And finally, after more than 1000 days, we can finally say that Labor has fallen into our hands. And for the France peace deal, as I said, Bahor can cause charted, money, humiliate, and war operations in order to prolong our truce as much as is possible. And for coalition, at that point, we don't really care about coalition, and the border are getting even more beautiful, and that even completed some of our missions giving us some clans around here. The most amount of province we already own, but we did indeed have some good clans. And in order to build up my nation even more, I'll be selling some titles before Sicily, and I'll be using that even to cancel one of my privilege, named Patronage of the Art, because I don't want to lose more money. And now Sicily and some of the diet. I even managed to get a certificate to be in Utrecht, but I don't think that is a good choice, so we're picking on the church thing. And with the new acquired money, I'll start building some workshops in the province that have a good base price goods, such as cloth, salt, paper, and even glass and iron. And that is indeed unfortunately. We probably are safe for now, but losing Aragon as a powerful ally is a no good. I will need to catch someone else, and probably that someone else will be Sweden. Even if they are in the middle of the war, I really don't think that Denmark can do any shit against Sweden Muscovy, so I'll be going with them. Remember that with some great luck we might even able to get some PO over them. Now let's just pray to the leader to die, the best way possible of course. And because I'm hurrying a little bit with governing capacity, I will be giving the nobility land right in order to get some more governing capacity, and I will not give the nobility officer corps this time because I'm thinking that later I might want to get once again the nobility privilege strong duchies. After all, I'm just about to release another subject, and with my new governing capacity, look at the EU46 dev state. That state itself gives us plus 3 whole ducats. That is just insane, and that is just how powerful Burgundy is by its own. And look at that province. At later days, Reverse itself will be able to pay for a good amount of our regiments. I am telling you dude, that is getting crazy. And later I'll be changing my capital to the English node, namely in the lowlands, in order to avoid the lowlands revolt disaster and getting our main node as the English one. Now I don't have the spare admin for that, because I really want to have my next idea group as soon as I can. After all, I'm almost capped in new power. And after getting some relations with the Pope dude, I'm able to get for 20 years some more yearly papal influence, and that if I had to say is almost already 10 for now. And now we even enable another of our missions that I will not pick in. That one here will grant us a holy war against the Ottomans. Then I don't think that we're in a position that we can fight them, because, you know, are the Ottomans and we're quite far away, but I was saving that for later in order to double chunking over them. And because I'm almost reaching the point cap, I will develop some province with my mill power. When you're going to develop a province with mill power, try to always go for the food province. You see, we have one manufacturer here called the Soldier Household that give you 1500 manpower if you build one some of the food province, and that can be further improved with the training fields that give us 100% local manpower modifier. So if you stack the soldier households with your own manpower development, you'll be having some provinces that can reach even 10k soldiers with no effort at all. So for the sake of that, I set my state edicts to encourage development and clicking that button a lot of time, at least until they reach 20 development or my mill power will go low. And that will even give us some crowland that we can now give to someone else, such as the Burgundy. I will not be doing that right now, but probably will be doing that later. And because I do like to flex, I'll be setting all my states to Virgin Listament. I probably skipped that, not on purpose, the pop-up I mean, but I'm seeing some talent and ambitious daughter here, and I seen some new emperor here. So right now the empire is something that we can really aiming for even before completing our mission. So I do think that we will ally some electors, so just for, I don't know, see what happens. And I will even be picking the Saint Papal Legate. Let's see which one of us has the better chance. I will be picking Expanded Royal Court in order to get the Reform Progress growth. And for my second idea group, I will be picking a military one, namely Offensive. We do have some decent policy with Diplomat, but what I'm really aiming here is for the siege ability, the leadership, and for the discipline later. You see, Burgundy and later Lotharingia has an extremely strong army, really need that much of improvement. But having offensive in your leave, you'll be greatly improve your game, you don't really need to have anything else because our force limit is already massive, our manpower is already massive, and we have the biggest income in the entire world, so I think that is a good moment to leave the video. We have the biggest force limit in the world, and also we are the second great power, we are working our way into the emperorship, and we also are the richest country in the world without even developing tax or production. Probably the best diplomatic network in the world. I dare that anyone will ever think in declaring us, even if the coalition get massive, so we are in a pretty comfortable position. And because you guys are really willing to make me play Burgundy, I will make a proposal for you guys. If that video here reach 50 likes, I will make a second part of that. Probably dealing with the Empire, the Reformation, and probably unite the whole Roman Empire in the crown of LOTHAIR. After all of us are really eager to restore the LOTHAIR legacy, aren't we? So I think that is reasonable and achievable milestone because we already reached that in other videos, but I never make a part 2 of a video before, so I'm kinda anxious about that. And if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like, and don't forget to comment your thoughts in the content. See ya! So we are here again, huh? Thank you guys for watching so far. Here another video to you enjoy. And if you come that far, subscribe. I mean, the button is literally there.